So if you ever find yourself with low to no motivation to start the things that you really want to do, you say you want to do, and they just don't happen, or you start them and after a couple of weeks you just kind of fall off, there's a way to fix that. And it's not that you're broken, there's psychological reasons I'm going to explain. So watch this video. I don't know about you, but I grew up in two extremes. Let me know if you relate. It was work that probably not exciting. Some of us can call that school. And then you come home and you have entertainment to help you forget about that work. Maybe not every night, but at least on the weekends. I think that can speak to all of us, probably right now. And for me, that kind of continued. I did pretty good in school, but you had the entertainment to help you forget about it. College was more of the same, except on steroids, right? Halo was at its peak. Halo 2 came out, online gameplay, and I just kind of fell off there academically. Like, if I could play till 2 in the morning, why not? Skip classes, why not? Because nothing could compare to Halo and Guitar Hero at the time. We all grow up, right? I didn't have the, obviously, we don't have the free time that we did in college, but somehow, some way, no matter what, we always find a way to have a little enjoyment at the end of the night to quote unquote wind down. It's not really winding down, right? But anyways, so even as adults, and I think this is kind of sinister, we grew up doing that, right? We had school and then play, and now we still have work that takes more time, but the limited free time we do have, what do we do with it? What do you do every night? You probably scroll, watch TV, play video games. If you scan your brain, by the way, you're probably, that's not really, those things are not unwinding. If you want to unwind, you read fiction. If you figure out a way, right? If you have something in your life that you want to do, figure out a way to enjoy it, you can get pretty far in that, right? One example for me in college again, this is also when World of Warcraft came out, so that was a big hamstring, but I always was going to the gym. I had no problem with that, but I had music I was working on. It wasn't really even going anywhere. It's just something I like to do, but you had WoW on the way, right? World of Warcraft. And what happened is that since I was a college student without a lot of money, and WoW had a subscription, there were times I had to cancel it. And when I canceled it, and I would go out and walk about campus, all my ideas for music started to bubble up from the surface. And I was like writing much more music than I was. Again, even though I had no goals around it. But that was very interesting that it just took taking WoW out. And why? Because I was bored. Because my brain had nothing else to latch onto except for, I guess, school and then going and working more on these side projects, right? So, like I said, if you can figure out a way to enjoy the thing that you say you want to do, but you just can't seem to get yourself to do it, you'll be unstoppable, right? We see all these people that go to the gym, they seem to enjoy the pain of the gym. I'm not going to lie, there's nothing about the gym that's exciting except you being done and talking to your friends. But is there a way we can tap into that mindset, right? Is there a way we can get some of that? And I definitely believe that is possible for you. So starting out, you have to ask yourself, what is it do I want? I always talk about the gym here, but it could be any project that you have in your life that is not something assigned to you, right? Like not something from work, not an obligation in life. It's just something you want to do. So what do you want? That's number one. And two, what's stopping you from getting that what you want, right? And I think if you sit down and think long enough, right, without being stimulated, you can answer those two questions, right? You probably know something you want to do. You probably have stuff that's preventing you from getting there, and it's going to hurt to get rid of, but that's just the way it is. And I think having periods of lack of entertainment can be highly beneficial. And we see this in real life. If you don't know, Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy, he has said that he went 400 plus days without entertainment, and during that time, I remember that he was like posting a lot more. I think, daily, and his business kind of blew up in that time period. All because he's like all his mental capacity was funneled into that. So that's one example. Alan Thrall, if you don't know him, he's a strongman powerlifter, and he has a video about when he was starting his gym, he doesn't flat out say, like, I took out entertainment, but he talks about how stressful it was. Like, how am I going to pay the rent stressful? And I don't think that he would have time to sit around and play Xbox while he's trying to figure out what to do with this business, basically. And those are two examples of other people, but I bet there's another example that's you, okay? If you had like a crunch time in school, like a paper or finals, probably not trying to find a way to go hang out with your buddies because you have something imminent coming, okay? Even though that doesn't last a long time, that's a very good example. And another one is your bloodline, right? Now, not only you in school, but everybody that's watching this, when you were younger, you had less entertainment than you do now, okay? I feel like people remember being more present as kids because they just had more time being bored. And the further back that was, right? I grew up in the 90s. TV was kind of a novelty. You just had it a couple hours in the afternoon or Saturday mornings. Even further back, maybe you only had it Saturday mornings. Maybe you only had comic books, right? Maybe no TV at all. So when you had all that mental freedom, you did stuff because you were bored. Like, where do you think basketball, the sport, came from? Because they hung a basket on a pole. How bored do you have to be to come up with that? And then how bored do you have to be to go watch people play it? Very. So I'm going to give you a way to kind of hack your brain, all right? Not fix, because it's in there. You just have to reset it. And this is a dopamine detox protocol, right? And before you get on me about like, oh, you have dopamine no matter what, you can't detox from it. Let's just call it removing high stimulating stuff so that the stuff you want to do seems more appealing again. Not as nice of a title as dopamine detoxing, but that's why we call it dopamine detoxing. So the first thing you need to do is figure out a goal for yourself, okay? And I put the goals / the work or meaningful work because ideally you pick paths, like you pick a method that you enjoy to get to the goal you have, okay? And, if you enjoy the method, the goal will kind of come. Even if you don't and you start taking out a bunch of stuff, no matter what method you pick, it's going to feel exciting again. So number one is list your goals out. Number two is list your vices, okay? You got to know what's what do you call it, getting in your way. And when I present that, you're going to think of something that's obvious, but it's going to hurt your ego to get rid of, okay? If I just flat out told you to your face that you have a video game problem, you're going to get all defensive. But deep down that that's probably a problem for you. And I can say that as someone that was hooked on it for a long time, okay? But whatever it is your thing, or the one that's the most obvious in your head is the one that's probably going to push the rest of the dominoes, right? If you quit something that's really hard for you to quit, it'll probably be easier for you to quit other stuff. So you have your goals, you have your vices, and then you have to put this system in, right? No matter what you do in the day, try to work on your goal as early as you can before you do anything else. And I like the mornings. If you have to do it right after work, go for it. But you don't want to interrupt yourself with doing a bunch of nonsense before the work comes. Now, as far as the entertainment's concerned, you don't have to completely go cold turkey. I'm going to give you a couple ways to ease into it. One, after you do the work, you take what you already like to do and you just use that as the reward for the work you've done, right? So like working out. If you work out for 30 minutes in the day, congratulations, allow yourself, if it's just pure entertainment, I don't know, start with 2 hours, right? That's enough to watch a couple episodes or something, play some video games or whatever. But that's going to ease you into the process of getting the work done and having the reward for it. Because the reward is very important. I know we talk about taking stuff out, but if you're starting, having that kind of carrot on a stick can be beneficial for you. So work first and then have your fun. The phone is kind of different. The phone is this continual nonstop could be entertainment thing. And I'm going to just have this broken down in its own category because that, it's not just I'm going to sit down and watch a movie. I'm going to get 10 seconds of something different for an hour. That's not great for your attention span. So what you do with your phone is you have fasting periods, right? If you're working out in the morning, or even if all you're doing is getting ready for work, just don't use it for the first hour. No social. Phone maybe, but social media, don't do that. And then at night, fast from it for a couple hours. A lot of you people are probably going to be like, what do I do at night if I don't have my phone? Figure it out. Like, seriously, you probably have books in your house. You got movies you could be watching, right? Watching a movie or playing video games, honestly, better than scrolling your phone, because at least you have to pay attention for longer than 30 seconds, all right? So that's the morning, fast, PM, fast. During the day, honestly, you should probably have a social media time limit. If you're really bad, cut it off at an hour. If you're kind of decent about it, 30 minutes is enough for most people. And then you do your workout, whatever, get your 30 minutes in, and then shut it off for the rest of the night. Another bonus is just follow fewer people on social media. Instagram, I'm looking at you. So because you don't have to keep up with celebrities that have nothing to do with you. And then turn your social media notifications off, all right? When you're working out, when you're working, you should not be interrupted by stuff on social media. It's not important. It's not your mother calling you, okay? But if you're working out, notifications should be up. Your phone should probably be away from you. That will save your brain so much energy. So entertainment's one thing. Phone is another sinister thing. So that's really it. You work, you manage your entertainment, and I know I said 2 hours. Over time, you can cut this down to like 1 hour, 30 minutes, weekends only, once a week, that kind of thing. Now, you may be asking, what do I do with all my free time that I'm bored? My friend, there's a lot to do when you're bored than just succumbing to this stuff, right? Like, read some books, work out again, honestly, or go for a walk, interact with people, like go hang out with the people in your house, okay? They're waiting for you. Literally anything. Now that people are uncomfortable with this boredom, but we talked about enjoying the work you want to do. There is nothing that will get you to your goal faster than just enjoying the process. And if you want to hack that yearning for the process, you need more periods of downtime in your life. Your brain is not designed to have constant input, entertainment, right? Like I got kids now. If you just say, we're not watching TV for a second, within like a minute, they'll figure out something else to do. So just do that for yourself. Oh, your books that are collecting dust in your house, read them, all right? And all these little down periods of time will start to build up your enjoyment for the real stuff, okay? Like, I know in society today, we all have like, oh, everybody's mental health is bad. I was like, yeah, but what's the context here? We have overstimulation all the time. We have constant access to stuff we probably shouldn't be looking at across the world, and every single negative thing that we could be looking at. You don't think that affects people, right? There's this, I think, Snoopy and Woodstock comic that says, I think I enjoyed the world more when I knew less about it. So I'm not saying that bad stuff doesn't happen. If you can actually impact it, do your best. But honestly, most of the time, just live off in the woods and build up the enjoyment for the real stuff. So if you want a mental health boost, this is it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions on this, feel free to comment, subscribe, and all that. If you want any help with this, I got a newsletter you can read, and at the end, you can fill out a questionnaire. So that's it. Detox from all the stuff that's getting in your way. I'll see you in the next video.